Good enough. Hello, YouTube. Adjusting my camera. There we go. Hello, YouTube. How are we doing this evening? I was telling everybody I've got a second light I put behind me, so now there's a nice glow. I kind of liking orange. I'm sticking with orange for now. I'm kind of liking the orange, but we shall see. It's subtle because my head's blocking it, but when I do this, it's pretty. And then TikTok, boom. All right, TikTok, we'll go ahead. Woo! And there we are. All right, TikTok. Mirror image, boom, boom. We are ready. All right. Welcome all. Adjust my camera again, maybe. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm undecided on the camera height with you guys. I think it's a little high. Good enough. All right. Anyway, hello all. Hello, TikTokers, YouTubers, Discordians. How are we doing? Today is Wednesday, April 2nd. We've got, actually, today we're going to talk about the tariffs and Trump. And I did not give any water yet to the dog, so that'll be coming. I forgot to do that. Thank you for the gifts. I saw that, Chazak and Ash. Thank you guys. Thank you, Carol, as well. Yeah, I'll have to give the dog water shortly. I forgot. I mean, it happens anyway, but I forgot. But yeah, today we're going to talk about Trump and the tariffs. That seemed to be the big story. Thank you, Jocelyn. And I spent so much time. He announced the tariffs at 4:00. He spent an hour plus talking about them, so I had to watch. Oh, and then to see the news and all the coverage of it. So yeah, Gooderman says, I deliberately didn't buy American whiskey today and Johnny Walker instead. First of all, Johnny Walker, I totally thought Johnny Walker was American. Is it British? I don't drink whiskey. And where are you, Gooderman? Are you not in the U.S.? I guess I did not quite recall that. Oops. All right. Make sure nothing's falling behind me here. All right. Sounds like things were falling. All right, I think we're okay. Scottish. Oh, you're another Scot. Oh, interesting. Okay. I thought Callum was my Scot. You got another one. I did watch the whole thing. I need whiskey. Yes, I did watch the whole thing. Well, I felt like I had to. Although Trump's thing was very funny. We're going to talk about Trump's tariffs today. That's good. That's the big story. As I said, also, he wasted several hours of my afternoon because normally I sort of start looking at the Ukraine stuff at 4:00 just to get the latest. And then Trump's tariff announcements came. He went on for an hour. Johnny Walker's Scottish. Okay. He went on for an hour and then an hour plus. And then I had to, anyway, bottom line is Trump pretty much announced a global, okay, not pretty much. I'm going to stop hedging. Trump announced a global trade war today with Europe, America, Asia, Latin America, Africa. He put a 10% tariff, a 10% tax on every product from every country in the world, basically. It's insane. It didn't stop there. Again, we're going to talk about this today. It didn't stop there. He also put tariffs on, additional tariffs on a number of countries and regions. For example, China is actually baseline tariff Trump did is 10% across the board. Just to remind you, a tariff is a tax. A tariff is quite literally a tax paid by Americans. If our government puts the tariff, it is a tax paid by the citizens of the country who puts the tax when the goods arrive in our country. So, for example, Trump put tariffs on every single good that comes to America from countries abroad. That means when those goods come to America, whatever American company or American individual bought those goods has to now pay an additional 10% tax, or they will not get the goods at the border. That's what a tariff is. It's a tax. Trump put a 10% tax on every good from every country in the world as a basis. So as a baseline 10%, but then he added more to countries he said were being unfair. For example, the total tax on Europe is going to be 20% and not 10%. The total tax on China is going to be 34%. The total tax on Japan is going to be 24%. I should remind you that the tariffs, the tax that helped cause the Great Depression to really become great was a 20% tax. I Googled that a minute ago and I was like, holy crap. The tariffs that caused, now the Great Depression had started with the stock market crash and all of that, right? 1929. What was it, October? I'm forgetting my day. Somebody out there knows. October 10th, 9th? When was it? 8th? I'm forgetting when the crash was. But it was 1929. Over the next year, Congress passed massive tariffs. But again, the massive tariffs that then accelerated the Great Depression worldwide horrifically were 20% tariffs. That's it. Trump has already put 20% tariffs on the EU, 24% tariffs on Japan, 34% tariffs on China. This is a mess. His administration is claiming that the 10% tariff on everybody cannot be negotiated away. That basically this isn't a bluff. Trump has put 10% tariffs on every good from every country in the world, and it's never going away. Wall Street absolutely freaked out. Actually, I took a picture of this. I don't know. Oof, I took a picture and I don't have it on my computer here. Wall Street flipped out. The S&P 500, the futures for tomorrow. Basically, Wall Street trades until 4 o'clock Eastern time, US. There is after hours trading, so it's a little confusing, but they also have these things called futures that, and again, this is a little over my head in terms of investment stuff, but basically it's trading that's looking forward to the market tomorrow. And it gives you a sense of what the market's going to do tomorrow. Well, you see the market kind of went down today. It came back, and then Trump made his announcement and the market plummeted. S&P 500, which are the 500 top companies in America, at one point dropped 2%. The NASDAQ, which are the top tech companies in America, dropped 3%. The S&P now is at a 1.5% drop, and NASDAQ, last time I checked, was at about a 2.3%. This is very bad. This is very bad. Across the board, guys, I'm trying to read this. Let me read you this. So this was interesting. The Wall Street, in terms of Wall Street's reaction, I pulled up the Wall Street Journal, which I subscribe to, and this was in the Wall Street Journal. Dan Ives, an analyst at Wedbush Securities, called the tariffs worse than the worst case scenario Wall Street feared. So Wall Street's freaking out because these tariffs were far worse than anything Wall Street expected. So listen to this. He called the tariffs worse than the worst case scenario. It was pretty shocking, said Danny Kirsch, another guy, head of options at Piper Sandler, which is a very big, I think they're an investment banking firm. This is much higher than the market expected. Shares in some major U.S. firms, including Apple, Amazon, and Nike, declined more sharply, reflecting the large tariffs announced on China, Vietnam, and other nations that export their goods to the U.S. Apple, your iPhone, all of that just went up massively. Okay, your iPad, your computers, Nike, all of the Nike products are made abroad. All of those are going through the roof now. Amazon had me worried because I was looking at Amazon and I was going, wait a minute, Amazon doesn't make anything, right? But it started making me wonder, Amazon's warehouses, where are they getting the stuff in their warehouses? Are they buying this stuff from abroad, right? I'm guessing yes. So this is now going to affect our Amazon prices as well. Jay asks a super chat question. The tariffs on us, are they true? And could this lead to lower tariffs on us? The tariffs on the U.S. The tariffs on the U.S., are they true? And could this lead to lower tariffs on the U.S.? I feel those numbers are fake, but just checking. Jay, tell me more of what you mean. You don't have to buy it. What I think Jay might be getting at. During his speech today at 4 o'clock that really freaked the market out, Trump held up a big piece of cardboard or whatever with the amount of tariffs he was charging all the Europeans and the Asians and whatever, freaked everybody out because it was way worse than they thought. And on it, he included what he claimed. I may have a picture here. What he claimed were the current tariffs from those countries. Now, again, he lied. I do have a picture. He lied. What Trump was claiming was, I'm simply charging them what they charge us. Now, if that were true, you'd go, well, that sounds fair, right? If they have a 20% tariff on our steel, we should have a 20% tariff on their steel. The problem is he lied. You'll be surprised to hear. This is the document Trump posted. This is the document that caused the U.S. stock market futures to crash. If you look at it closely, I'll show you guys next. You've got the countries on one side, and then it shows what their alleged tariff is. And then the blue is their alleged tariff. And then our tariff we're putting on them is in yellow. So he's claiming the European Union has a 39% tariff on us, and we're putting a 20% tariff on them, for example. Here, you guys can see. So list of countries, the teal and the white is what they charge us, and the yellow is what Trump's going to charge them. So you look at it, you go, well, that sounds fair. European Union charges us 39% tariffs, and we're only charging them a 20% tariff. Yeah, he lied. The European Union tariffs that Trump is talking about are pretty much equal to ours. I don't know. Trump held the list up. I'm sure it's on the website or the White House website. The European Union tariffs are already equal to ours. I looked it up. Their tariffs are not any higher than ours. And this is funny because Trump even mentioned it during his speech. And I heard it when he mentioned it during his speech. And I went, wait a minute. Did he just say that? Trump is including in the tariffs what are called non-tariff barriers. I remember this from graduate school. Non-tariff barriers are things that impede trade that aren't just tariffs. You could have inspections, like all this kind of crazy stuff you do to make it harder for people to sell their products in your country. Well, Trump included for Europe, included in the amount he claims the Europeans are charging us, he included the European value-added tax. For anybody who isn't aware, the value-added tax, the VAT in Europe, is simply a federal sales tax. That's it. I mean, it's too hard to explain. It's a sales tax. It applies to every good in the country. It is not a tax on American goods coming into Europe. American goods have to pay the tax. European goods have to pay the tax. Everybody pays the tax. It's a sales tax. It's just like in the US, we have state sales taxes in a number of states. In Europe, they have like a federal sales tax. That's all it is. Trump is including in his figure of the European tariffs, the VAT. That's just BS. I mean, he's lying. So yes, the experts will tell you that the Europeans pretty much charge the same tariffs that we do already. It's pretty equal, and Trump just made it unequal, which means if Europe is smart, Europe will respond and put greater tariffs on us. Thank you for the gift there. Blue is Blue. And who's the, no, the gift, that gift came from, that was from you, the beating heart. Thank you, Blue. By the way, guys, I always forget to make the pitch. Please give me gifts if you can afford it. I hate asking for that, but I do this for a living and your gifts pay the bills. So I appreciate them. Please keep them coming. Marty is asking, that was your question, Jay. Okay, good. Yeah, so a lot of what Trump is claiming is fake in terms of the tariffs other countries have put on us. Big surprise. Marty asks or says, Canadian politicians on Canadian news channels, thank you, Rose and Kronos. Canadian politicians on Canadian news channels are saying there are no new tariffs on Canada today, and they are shocked. What I read was the Canadian tariffs that are already in place are already in place. That 10%, I believe the 10% will go into effect once you negotiate away the current tariffs. So if you negotiate away the tariffs that Trump put on you already in Canada, he will then say, Canada caved. Okay, great. I will get rid of all those tariffs we put on you, but we're still charging you the 10%. So the 10% is going to kick in afterwards. Trump's White House staff claimed today that the 10% tariffs are never going to be negotiated away. They're a permanent tariff. Now, Trump is looking at this as a great way to raise money. The problem is it's a great way to raise money from American taxpayers because we're the ones paying for it. It's American companies and American taxpayers that are paying for these tariffs. As I said before, and I'm going to keep repeating it because Trump keeps lying about this, tariffs are taxes that you pay at the border when you receive a product you bought abroad, whether it's you and me buying a product abroad that comes in. Oh, thank you. Oh, very cool. Disco Ball Succeed. Oh, it's a stage. Oh, those glasses hung out afterwards. That was funny too. Thank you, Succeed. That was very cool. And very generous. Thank you. Tariffs are a tax that you pay at the border when you receive something you purchase from abroad. So if you and I were receiving something we purchased from abroad, if the tariff applied, we would have to pay. We would get a notice from the U.S. government. Ash. I always feel bad when you guys buy me. The mods don't have to buy me gifts, but thank you, Ash. That's sweet of you. I appreciate that. A tariff is basically, if you and I were to buy something abroad, we would have to pay for our product to come here now. We would have already paid for the product. And when the product got to U.S. Customs, they would send us a notice and say, there is now a 10% tariff on your product. You have to pay the U.S. government a 10% tax on that thing you already bought, or we're not going to release it. If you're a U.S. car company, same thing. Car parts coming in from abroad. 50 to 60% of U.S. cars, I have to phrase this better. Every single car made in America, American car, contains 50 to 60% foreign car parts. Every single American car is 50% foreign. All those car parts, Trump is tariffing. Trump is taxing. That means those car companies that already bought those parts or are planning on buying them, but the ones they even haven't bought, even more importantly, the ones they already bought, they buy these car parts. The car parts are coming to the U.S. now. When they arrive at the border, Ford Motor Company, GM, Chrysler, they thought they already paid for these parts because they did. Now there's another 10% tax or a 25%. Actually, on cars, it's a 25% tax. So there's an additional 25% tax on what that American company already paid for those parts. that is in America. Ford, GM, and Chrysler are paying that tax. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Yeah. It is a mess. As I said earlier, what really kind of freaked me out, I was looking up the Great Depression, and one of the things that happened during the Great Depression that's very famous is the world got into a trade war. Hello, we helped start it. The U.S. was possibly the main instigator of it. Thank you, Taylor. The U.S. passed shortly after the stock market crashed. What do we say? October of 1929, the stock market crashed, beginning of the Great Depression. A few months afterwards, the U.S. put massive tariffs in place that set off a global trade war. We put massive tariffs in place, and then other countries responded and said, screw you. If you're going to put tariffs on us, we'll put tariffs on you. And it ended up killing international trade. Guess how much the tariffs are that the U.S. put? I'm going to actually pull up the exact quote here. The U.S. put tariffs on, where is this? La, 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 la. Oh, come on. Here we go. The U.S. put tariffs on a wide range of goods, including agricultural products and manufactured goods. The size of the U.S. tariff and the Smoot-Hawley tariffs that basically helped cause the Great Depression to explode, 20% tariffs. That's it. 20%. Or was it 25? Hang on. Sorry. I said this because I had it in front of me. 20% tariffs. Trump's already putting 20% on Europe, 34% or so on China, 25% or so on Japan. Now, why is this all so bad? Okay. As I said, tariffs are a tax on goods as they come into the U.S. so that you as an individual American, if you ordered something from abroad or the company you buy it from, most of us buy things from American companies here. We go to Walmart. We go to Costco, right? We go to the grocery store across the street. Well, we go to stores that have already purchased goods from abroad. Well, those stores, when they import those things they purchase, your grocery store, when it next imports fruit from Mexico, avocados especially, right? They will have to pay a tax, a tariff on that fruit that comes in from Mexico now. The car companies, as I said, when they import parts for their cars, American car companies, that 50% of the parts, 50 to 60 actually, of American cars are foreign parts. When they import those parts, they now have to pay a tax on those parts when they come into the US. What does that mean? That means that the price of the product just went up 25%, well, 10% for everything, but significantly more depending on the country. That company has to now decide, okay, your grocery store, Walmart, Costco, the cost of what they bought that they would sell you just went up 10% everywhere. But it went up even worse. If from Europe, it went up 20%. From China, it went up 34% or 36%. Let me see what the exact number was. China's 34% from China. Japan, 24%. But a lot of our stuff comes from China. 34% from China. Everything comes from China that we have in this country. Okay. Walmart now has to decide, do they just pay 34% more for that product and not pass the price along to you? That's crazy, right? Now, what the American companies are trying to do is they're trying to negotiate with some of the foreign manufacturers and saying, look, we can't afford 34% price increase. You've got to give us a little bit of split the difference. Like we pay 17% more in the tax and maybe you lower the price 17%. The problem is that still means prices from China are going up 17%. I don't want everything to go up 17% that I'm paying for. That's the risk of what's going on here. Now, why does it matter? Actually on Jay, let me get to yours in a second. Why does it matter? Well, obviously it matters on its face if we're having to pay more. That's inflation. We don't like to pay more. I don't want to pay 34% more for things that I buy from China because everything I buy is from China, right? Pretty much. I don't like it, but it is. So that's the first problem. It's less money in my pocket, less money in your pocket. Second problem with prices going up, companies make less money. As we saw, American car companies are now going to lose money because their parts, the 50% of the cars they make, the prices just went through the roof because Trump just increased it 25%. So half of the car just went up 25%, the car price. What that means, they've already estimated, the economists, that American car prices, an average car of $40,000 will go up $5,000 because of Trump's tariffs. The average foreign car you buy in the US for $40,000 will go up $6,000. Okay. Well, for a lot of us, that means we might not buy those cars. We may cut back, right? A lot of it. I bought my iPhone a couple months ago. I normally was going to wait a year. I bought my iPhone a couple months ago because I thought this was going to happen. I didn't want to pay 30% more for my iPhone. Well, a lot of people now are not going to buy iPhones. They're not going to buy iPads. They're not going to get computers. They're going to wait, right? You're just going to wait. Car, you may wait at this point. Honestly, with a 25% risk of car prices going up, a risk of car prices going up like $5,000 at least, I'd say, you know what? Maybe it's time to wait. Maybe it's time to wait, right? That's the problem, is then companies start losing money. I mentioned to you guys a couple days ago, I also did some videos on TikTok, that we have already seen 600 jobs killed in Michigan, 600 jobs eliminated in Minnesota, 189 jobs eliminated in West Virginia. These jobs, I think, pretty much were steel jobs. They were companies that import foreign steel and they make parts for American cars. They have already seen the demand for American cars go down because of the tariffs, and they're now closing down the factories. And again, it may not sound like much. In West Virginia, 189 jobs is a lot of jobs. In Minnesota and Wisconsin, Michigan, 600 jobs is not a small. When you get individual states, that's not a small. And worst part, it's affecting communities. Those are 600 jobs in one town, right? That's where it gets problematic economically for these, because now you've got a town that suddenly is no longer viable in your state, right? This is a mess. There's more. Let me look more here. Airline shares. Oh, this was interesting too from the Wall Street Journal. Listen to this. Airline shares fell in aftermarket trading as Trump laid out his tariff strategy, reversing Wednesday's earlier gains. Investors have been on edge about travel demand, fearing that economic uncertainty and expanded tariffs could cause companies to cut back on business trips. Corporate travel is a critical source of revenue for airlines, and analysts have said it's already plotting. It could get worse. Government travel has also plummeted, and some leisure travelers are looking to cut back. So now you've got the travel industry being affected by Trump's tariffs and concerns about the economy, right? Shit. My brother-in-law's calling. I can't take it because my phone's up there. All right, well, my brother-in-law is trying to get my box, and I'm sure they're giving him bullshit that they can't get it. Hold on. I'm going to send him a message just so he knows. He's trying to get my packages from UPS, and I told him they're going to screw you. Okay. In the middle. Hold on. Trying to at least send him a text message so I can see this. I'm about to get very pissed. I'm just waiting for him to say they don't have your boxes. Maybe he did. Yeah, but I can't take the call because my phone is literally my camera for YouTube and Discord. If I remove my phone, YouTube will lose my camera. I just sent him a text message. I'm a little afraid that he's there and they're giving him bullshit. That's what I'm a little afraid of, but let's see what happens. Let me see. Hopefully he's checking his text messages. Let's see. If he calls again, I'm going to pull the plug on YouTube and come back to you guys because I don't want to lose this stuff. In any case, so what else we got? I'm trying to look at the rest of this. Another thing Trump had done today. Okay. Well, this looks like it's problematic. He said, call me after your show. That looks problematic. I'm sure UPS is playing games again. I guarantee they are. In any case, what else we got? Trump. Oh God, Trump also said today. I may have the video on here. I took the video on my computer, on my phone, but hang on a second. It may have transferred. It did transfer it here. Oh my God. Okay. I have to play this for you. 1 second. Donald Trump today discovered the word groceries. And this was the speech at the White House that went for an hour about the tariffs that never ended. He's done this before. Trump thinks the word grocery is not a new word. He thinks it's an old word in the English language that nobody uses anymore. Thank you, Jim Alt, by the way. Sorry, let me look really quick. Jay says, Japan is making deals with China. What do you think Europe and Canada can do to diversify their economy? And are they already doing this? I don't know what did I see today? I did see something today about one of our allies at least talking about diversifying their economy. You don't have a choice. I mean, you guys need to basically now. Granted, Canada, I would think, already has some significant ties to China. I would think economically. Europe, I don't know. If I were Europe, first of all, I've said this before. If I were Europe, I would get on the phone with the Chinese and say it's time for a summit. Get Xi over to Europe and scare the hell out of the Americans. And I would do the same thing for the Canadians. I'd invite Xi to China or to Canada. I don't know whether he'd come, but I'd invite him and see if you can get an invitation to go to China. But I would basically go to the Americans at this point. And the Europeans should do the same thing. Get the Chinese over there. Start cutting deals with the Chinese and see how they. And frankly, what you say is, unfortunately, we can't rely on the Americans anymore. They've made that clear. And we'd rather do trade with not rather, you don't want to piss off the Chinese, but we'd love to keep doing trade with the Americans, but they've said they don't want to trade with us. Okay. Why not? So listen to this. This is Trump today. Trump previously had mentioned that a few months ago, Trump mentioned like hearing the word groceries. And Trump thought it was fascinating because it was a very old word people don't use anymore. Groceries. It's, by the way, anybody who's not an English speaker, a native, the word groceries is a super common word that everybody uses. It is not an old word. It is not an archaic word. But again, a couple months ago, Trump already said this. Groceries. It's an old word that nobody knows anymore. And you're just like, what are you talking about? He did it again today. I want you to hear this. Okay, hold on. Let me get the. Oops. Oh wait, was this my photo or is this the? Oh wait. Oh, shoot. This was the picture. Wait, where's the... Wait, now I've got to... Oh, here he is. Grocery. Hold on.
You did great. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through them.
It's this old archaic term. It's this old word. And I used it during the campaign. It's this old word, this old-fashioned word, groceries. And then he defines the word. It's a bag that you put stuff inside of. I mean, I'm playing this again. Because this is the kind of thing that you could see people going, there's no way he said. I may have to do a TikTok on this one, actually, now that I think about it. Hold on. Wait, let me get the...
Likewise, an old-fashioned... You did great. But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it.
It's a bag with different things in it. Groceries. It's a bag with different things in it. Oh, God. I mean, that's exactly it. He's my nephew was saying that it's because he doesn't know the word, because he doesn't go shopping. I mean, again, groceries. Again, it's difficult to sort of explain this to you if you're not an Anglophone. I'm sure you Australians and Brits, it's the same thing, right? The word groceries is like a totally common word. It's literally what we call them, right? My grocery bill's gone up. I've got to go get some groceries. Yeah, it's like, it's not an old-fashioned word. It's like, I will do TikTok on it. It's the most, just to sit there, but I love that. It's a bag with things in it. Well, first of all, it's not a bag with things in it. It's a bag with food in it. Groceries are food. Groceries are not things. When you go to Walmart or Home Depot and fill your bag with car parts, they're not groceries, Donald. Thank you very much. Oh my God. Unfreaking believe. And it's true. If you're right about that. If Joe Biden, forget Barack Obama, if Joe Biden sat there and said, there's this old word people don't use called groceries. And do you know what it is? Groceries are a bag with things in it. Oh my God. Fox News with Joe Biden defining the word groceries. It's a bag with things in it. And again, Fox News would say that's not even what groceries are. That's literally not the definition of groceries. Anyway. Oh my God. So yes, this tariff thing, this is bad news, guys. It's very bad news. We're going to see what the Europeans do and what our the foreigners do. I got to tell you, there's a part of me that kind of wants to see them retaliate. He's not going away. He's not going to stop doing this kind of stuff. He's just going to keep doing this until somebody stands up to him. It's very bad. Other news, there was some bad election news for the Republicans last night. Actually, the election news across the board was very bad for Republicans. There were two big elections, three really. Two meaning Florida and Wisconsin. In Florida, there were congressional elections for two congressional seats. One is the guy who became Trump's national security advisor, so he left his seat in Congress. The other is Matt Gaetz, who is this Republican congressman who was Trump nominated as attorney general. And because of scandals, and I can't say these things on TikTok, but because of scandals involving him and underage girls, he was not able to become attorney general and had already resigned his congressional seat. Well, he resigned his congressional seat in order to try to cover up the scandal, the report on it. Well, both of those seats were in big Republican districts. So the Republicans won. That's not the surprise. The surprise is that the Democrats did very well in those seats. In Matt Gaetz's seat alone, I believe he won the seat. He won the seat with 30-some% margin over the Democrat his last election, meaning like he beat the Democrat by 34 points or something, 34 percentage points, something like that. This Republican who replaced him won by 15 points or so. So instead of 30-some%, this guy only won by 15%. Democrats cut into the margin 50%. That is not good news for Republicans in a Republican district. Much more important, but we knew Republicans were going to win those seats anyway. Much more importantly was Wisconsin. Wisconsin Democrats had a huge victory. Everybody admits it. Elon Musk spent $30 million on this seat, trying to basically steal it, really, for the Republicans. He lost. This was an election for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The Supreme Court Chief Justice, the head of the Supreme Court, the Democrat won. The Democrat won by 10 percentage points. So she won by 10 points. That's a huge margin. Keep in mind, Elon spent $30 million on this, okay? Every district or every county in the state moved Democratic from where they were in the last election. The Democrat who won the seat did much better than Kamala Harris, which is interesting because it suggests basically that there's Democratic enthusiasm, that the results of the last election have not, killed enthusiasm among Democrats completely, right? The fact that people turned out in big numbers. Also, and this was the analysis the vote counters were saying, or the political experts were saying of why this is so bad for Republicans. Often in these elections, because this is like a special election, it wasn't like the election last night in Wisconsin. It wasn't the typical election when we're voting for president as well, and everybody turns out, right? President we already had. We're not having another presidential election for 4 years. It wasn't like a typical congressional election. We have the congressional elections every 2 years. The congressional elections aren't happening again for a year and 3 quarters at this point. So typically not that many people turn out when you have like an election in Wisconsin where it's just the Supreme Court seat, right? Because they're not turning out to vote for president or anything else. The same number of people turned out that normally turn out for a midterm election, meaning when you have a congressional election in a year that is not a presidential year. So the presidential election was 2020. Then it was 2024. So those would be big years for people to turn out to vote. 2022 was just a congressional election year. There was no presidential election. The turnout for this special election in Wisconsin was the same, more or less, as the turnout for the congressional elections in 2022. Again, what they're saying is that means Democratic turnout is huge. People should not have turned out to this degree. This shows there was a lot of enthusiasm. Democrats did much better than they did just a couple of months ago with Kamala Harris. It spells bad news for Republicans across the board. One of the biggest, there's two problems for Republicans. One, it's one election, but it's a very interesting, it's not one election. Even in Florida, Democrats did better than they should have done. It is a sign of the trouble Republicans might have with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, with people being pissed at them, going too far, going too extreme. The other problem is that, hang on a second, I'm trying to think with Florida. The Supreme Court in Wisconsin is going to be deciding redistricting and, plans to it's very complicated, but every 10 years they redivvy up the congressional districts or, whatever counties, it's not counties, but they're congressional districts in a state. And it changes the number of members of Congress you have. It changes the number of members of Congress each party has. Well, 2 Republican seats were in question in the Congress. Those 2 Republican seats are probably gone now because this Democrat won, right? That is going to affect the congressional elections in 2 years in a big way. That's a huge problem. Elon Musk said it was going to be the end of the world if Republicans lost this seat. Oh, well. In other news, Elon. So Elon looks like Elon's leaving. Trump is telling insiders that Elon is on his way out. He's leaving in a few weeks. He's going to go back to focusing on his businesses. It looks like they're worried about Elon being bad news for the administration. Democrats and I would say fair-minded Americans have done a very good job demonizing Elon, and Trump's kind of fed up with it at this point. Also, Trump's people can't stand Elon. I mean, that's the other problem. They do not like Elon anyway. But Elon has basically, thank you, Jim Alt, as well. I don't know if I'd thanked you. Thank you for that too. He's leaving. Anyway, I suspect Tesla is not happy because Tesla is in real trouble. I just read again, more data today of Tesla's sales plummeting. So Tesla's in trouble. And by the way, Tesla's not coming back. If you think, I mean, I once owned Tesla stock. I sold it in the last year because I was like, screw him. I always had dreamed of buying a Tesla. I wouldn't be caught dead in that car at this point. There's no freaking, I can't even imagine. It would be like driving a MAGA hat, right? You might as well drive a red hat at this point to drive a Tesla. Elon leaving Trump is not going to save Tesla. They have destroyed themselves by saddling up to Elon and saddling up to his extremist not just anti-American, anti-democratic agenda, right? I mean, my God, saddling up to the neo-fascist party in Germany and saying they should win the election, his little hand salute, right? Tesla's, forget Tesla at this point. In any case, so Elon's in trouble. He's leaving. That's funny. The final thing I wanted to tell you, because I thought this was very interesting, and hold on a second. As folks know, a lot of times I like to give you news stories that tell you more about something going on than just the story itself. I was reading today that another law firm had caved to Donald Trump. And at first I was thinking, wow, that's really bad. Then I read the agreement and realized Trump was lying. These law firms caving to Trump, I don't think, at least this latest firm, they didn't cave to Trump at all. Now, I will give you the summary, and then I'm going to read this to you. The summary is what the firm did was they wrote a statement that Trump could read that made it sound like the firm caved and that Donald Trump beat the DEI, the civil rights firm, the Democratic firm. He's going after these firms because basically they do things like this latest. I thought this firm might be the one where Kamala Harris's husband works there. One of the firms, it might be the same one, they're going after because the firm, some of the employees of the firm had helped investigate January 6th, Donald Trump's attempt to violently overthrow the government. So he's seeking retribution on these firms for basically defending our democracy, right? Well, several of the firms have sued. Other firms have caved, we were told. And this firm today, we were told they caved to Trump. Listen to the agreement Trump reached. They didn't cave. They gave him cover to say he won, but he didn't win anything. So I'm not quite sure which way this cuts. I don't know which way this cuts. Listen to this, okay? And by the way, the lawyers wrote this. Donald Trump published this on his little Twitter alternative. The lawyers for the firm wrote this. Listen to this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want to read you some of the details. I mean, again, it's amazing because it tells you about Trump again. So many of Trump's biggest victories are fake. They're phony. He lies about them, but he spins them in a way that you think, oh my, like, for example, remember his, what was it? The big AI investment, and the companies were already going to, his big AI investment, the companies were going to put $500 billion into the US economy. I remember Elon made the mistake of going public and saying, that's not true. Nobody's even committed that money yet. It's not true. Right. Totally different. And Biden didn't lie. That's correct. I'm bored. Before you leave us, by the way, sad to have you go. But Biden did not lie, not like Donald Trump. Donald Trump, unfortunately, has been shown by the Washington Post and others to be what one would call a pathological liar, in that he has lied so much. The Washington Post says that he lied 30,000 times during his presidency. They are the kind of lies that somebody does that basically the difference between all of us have told a lie in our lives versus that guy, who everything out of his mouth is a lie. So you can't trust him and you really don't want to associate with him because he's kind of scummy and every single thing he says is a lie. we all know that there's a difference between that guy we know, that every single thing they say is a lie, and the fact that all of us have told a lie at some point in our life, usually because we felt we had to, but sometimes maybe even for a bad reason. And every adult versus kids don't understand the difference, but adults understand the difference between, yes, every adult has probably lied at some point, and a pathological liar. So let's go on. I'm going to read you this because it's hilarious. So Trump says, point one, clearly, again, the lawyers wrote this. Point one, Wilkie, the firm, will provide a total of at least $100 million in pro bono legal services. And I went, wow, $100 million. Pro bono legal services are free legal services the firm provides for good causes, right? And I'm thinking, holy crap, 100 million's a lot. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Trump got them to commit 100 million to Republican causes. Oh my God. Listen to this. Oh, it's not. It's not. Listen to this. Wilkie will provide a total of at least $100 million in pro bono legal services during the Trump administration and beyond. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on. I'm going to drop my, right? Boom. The shoe drops. If you're providing $100 million in services during the Trump administration and beyond, it means you can provide zero services during the Trump administration and $100 million after Trump leaves. But after Trump leaves, the firm won't have to pay it, because if a Democrat wins the presidency, they won't have to do anything because none of this agreement will stand. So it's not an agreement for them to provide $100 million in services at all. Right? The agreement was at some point in the future, they'll provide $100 million in services. Maybe it'll even be after Trump leaves, is what they said legally. But after Trump leaves, they won't have to pay a dime. So that's the first lie from Trump. Okay. They'll have to give the services to causes that President Trump and Wilkie both support. And he says the areas that they will be helping. Assisting veterans and other public servants, including, among others, members of the military and Gold Star families. Okay, let's pretend the firm is going to spend any money. The way this is written, they don't have to spend a dime, but let's pretend the firm's going to spend money. I'm not really that upset that the firm agreed that they're going to provide some free legal services to the military and to families of fallen soldiers. That's what Gold Star families are. They're families of U.S. soldiers that have died. I think that's nice. That's not caving, right? I mean, right? Trump's coming after you. Go, okay, you know what? We'll be happy to help some families of soldiers who died. Maybe. Because again, the agreement doesn't say they have to. The agreement says maybe they'll spend money after Trump leaves office. And we all know after Trump leaves office, they won't spend any. So that's the second thing where this is not caving at all. Okay. Wilkie, hang on a second. Wilkie affirms its commitment. Oh, this is great. This is Trump's attack on DEI. DEI is the Trump administration term for civil rights, basically, and they're trying to roll back civil rights protections in America. And Trump has been going after these firms saying, you support DEI. Listen to the commitment they got the firm to make. And Trump thinks it's not. Trump thinks this is a commitment to back off civil rights. Listen to this. Wilkie, the firm, affirms its commitment to merit-based hiring, promotion, and retention. Okay. First of all, the firm affirms its commitment. Legally, that doesn't mean anything. Affirming the commitment means legally you're stating that you care or whatever. I don't care. The firm, right? The firm affirmed its commitment. Okay. No legal import to that at all. Its commitment to merit-based hiring, promotion, and retention. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to guess that major law firms in America hire people based on merit, and they give them raises and give them jobs based on their merit. They're already doing that. So again, there was no cave here. They didn't give Trump anything. It goes on. Oh, this is great. Accordingly, the firm will not engage in illegal DEI discrimination and preferences. Okay, this is the best, but this is where I'm saying their lawyers wrote this, and Trump thinks that sentence is anti-DEI. Remember, DEI is civil rights, okay? Listen to this. The firm will not engage in illegal DEI discrimination. The firm has just promised not to break the law. I mean, they weren't going to break the law anyway. He got them to promise not to break the law. Do you know what I mean? He didn't get them to promise not to do DEI, right? He didn't get them to promise not to do civil rights. He got them to promise not to do illegal DEI. Well, yeah, no one's doing illegal stuff, right? So, but you get what I'm saying? He got the firm to promise stuff that isn't real. The firm did not promise not to do DEI. They promised they won't do illegal DEI. And I'm going to guess that a law firm probably isn't going to do illegal hiring and firing, right? I mean, right? This is, guys. I'm a lawyer, by the way. I read this and I went, "Oh my god!" The final point. Trump got the law firm to agree that they're willing to take anybody's money. Which, again, they're a law firm. Of course, they're willing to take any. They literally listen to this. Wilkie, the law firm, affirms that it will not deny representation to clients such as members of politically disenfranchised groups and government officials, employees, and advisors. Okay, so he got the law firm to promise that they're not going to refuse clients based on being Democrats or Republicans. Okay, I'm going to go on a limb here and guess that American law firms in general are happy to take money from Democrats and Republican clients. They don't really care. That was what Trump got the law firm to agree to today. Now, again, it's funny because all the news was, oh my God, another firm caved to Donald Trump's threats. They didn't cave. They did give him political cover. That they did do. They gave him a document that lets Trump go to his base. Look at me. Look what I got. Right? I got the evil DEI people to cave, he's able to say. But the document itself literally does absolutely nothing. I think it's fascinating. I mean, seriously, I read that and I went, oh my God, that law firm screwed him. That a lawyer wrote that, and a lawyer wrote that who was told, I want you to write a document that sounds like we're giving him stuff, and we're literally giving him nothing. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, that made me laugh. I bully. Good to see you. Remember, Elon isn't a national socialist. They at least made good cars. What? What did he? I don't know what that's a reference to. What is that a reference to? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, tell me what you mean by that. All right, guys. So yes, let's hang out. We can talk more about tariffs and stuff. I just thought that was the most wonderful thing, though. Donald Trump claiming he got victory on the DEI thing, and the law firm agreed to absolutely nothing. Absolutely cracks me up. Oh, so I'll show you guys. I have a new light. I have two lights behind the TV now. So now we've got good color. But unfortunately, the angle I'm at on TikTok, you can no longer see the TV. So sorry about that. Oh well, at least for the YouTubers and the Discordians, you can see my TV with the lights. So that's a good thing. Anyway, oh my God. My brother-in-law went to get the packages and sent me a note that said, call me, which makes me think he doesn't have them, but he's not a big fan of typing. I'm going to guess they told him, oh, we'll have them tomorrow or some bullshit. So let's see. I will find out when. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll find out when I get off the phone. Farfanugan. Ukraine news, I don't know. I didn't have time to do Ukraine news today because it was tariffs. So I did not hear of any, but that doesn't mean there isn't any. Scroll back with TikTok. You can't see. I can scroll back on TikTok, but you guys can't. I don't know. Anyway, Discord. What else? Oh, Manana's saying I think she's talking about groceries. I use that here in Latvia, and everyone who speaks English understands it with the word groceries. Too funny. Cory Booker, United States Senator, Democrat, who gave a 25-hour speech about the evils of the Trump administration. I did watch part of it. It was good. He was good. He's very good. I don't think it accomplishes anything, but it kind of does. Meaning he didn't block any evil Trump legislation or anything else. He did, however, rally the base. He rallied people like you and me. He got people excited. He got people enthusiastic. He got people hopeful. Like a lot of people were like, yes, at least we're doing something, right? That's beneficial. I mean, because even if it doesn't accomplish anything direct in terms of killing legislation that Trump is doing or whatever, it's still, as I said, is very up. Thank you, Craig, for the gift. Keep the gifts coming, guys. That was very sweet of you, Craig. Thank you. It does get people. It instills hope, right? People were hopeless. Now they've got a little more hope. They see people fighting back. Ruben Gallego today put a hold on senior Veterans Affairs Department hires for Trump because Trump is decimating the Veteran Affairs Department for our veterans or military veterans. He's firing 15% of the employees. There's real concern about what that's going to do for our vets because these guys and the military, not the military, the veterans people are claiming, adjusting my thing again here. The veterans people are claiming, Ruben was great on TV. I've had him on my podcast before. When I had a podcast, Ruben's great, from a senator from Arizona. And Ruben said, the Republicans claimed, oh, we're not going to cut veterans benefits. Don't worry. He goes, okay, let's pretend they're not cutting veterans benefits. They're cutting veteran services. You can't fire 15% of the staff. Who's going to answer the phones? Who's going to help you get your home loan? Who's going to help you get your benefits when you're in the hospital? Who's going to help you get your veterans benefits when your spouse dies, right? These are people that the veterans provide a lot of benefits beyond just your check you get. And that's what he was saying, which I thought was very interesting. Very interesting. So good for Ruben for doing that. But I think not that Ruben was already on this bandwagon because Ruben's a Marine. And Ruben, interestingly enough, was in Iraq at the same time J.D. Vance was, except Ruben actually was fighting in Iraq. J.D. Vance was typing press releases. He was a press guy. He wrote press releases. Ruben was actually fighting in Iraq. And in any case, so Ruben, I don't want to say Ruben was inspired, but I'll bet you even for Ruben, this was an added benefit right on the heels of what Cory Booker did. Adam Schiff announced, I think yesterday, that he was putting a hold on some other Trump appointments as well. Holds are basically a way that individual U.S. senators are able to kind of stop things, which is good. Also, as Grateful Ed just said, Cory Booker beat Strom Thurmond's old record. Strom Thurmond, who was an old racist, Southern racist, Democrat who then became a Republican when the Democratic Party embraced civil rights. When the Democratic Party embraced civil rights in like the 1960s, a lot of racist Democrats from the South didn't like it, so they left him. They became Republicans. Strom Thurmond's one of them. He was also very sexist too. Lots of horrible stories. Strom Thurmond is the one. So Strom Thurmond had the record for filibusters for the longest speech ever. And this was now an African-American senator, Cory Booker, who beat the record, which is great because it's like beating a racist. Strom Thurmond's the one, by the way, who grabbed my arm once and started massaging my elbow at an event because he thought I was a blonde woman. I literally got sexually assaulted by Strom Thurmond. That was kind of fun. Actually, it was, in retrospect, it was very funny. At the time, it was kind of gross. But I was at a fundraiser for George Bush that my boss was going to. George Bush the first. Thank you for the hat. Who is that? Oh, you're the one who's Jill Light. There we go. Thank you, Jill Light. Very cool hat. We go to this fundraiser for George Bush in the United States Senate, and they had shrimp and stuff, and Strom Thurmond's there. And Thurmond, at this point, I looked it up. I think he was 89 years old, very out of it. And he would keep plastic bags in his pocket of his suit. And he liked to grab shrimp from these events, put it in his pocket and bring it home and have it later for dinner. So he's at the table and he's literally grabbing shrimp and putting it in his pocket. Oh, thank you for the crab. Who is that? Chazak, thank you. Putting the crab in his pocket, putting the shrimp in his pocket. And we're standing there and it's Thurmond, this woman, Elizabeth, from my office, who ended up marrying my senator's, I was working for, a son. So Thurmond, Elizabeth, who was in her 20s and blonde, very pretty, and me. And as we're sitting there kind of small talking, Thurmond reaches behind Elizabeth and he thinks, so imagine again, Thurmond, Elizabeth, me. Thurmond reaches behind Elizabeth and he thinks he's grabbing her elbow. And he starts to grab the elbow and go like this and basically massage her elbow. But he's gone an inch too far and he's massaging my elbow. This 89-year-old racist, sexist pig is sexually assaulting me at a George Bush fundraiser. And I realized what was going on and I pulled my arm away. Now it's very fun. Now it's very funny. And I'm glad I was able to intervene to stop him from sexually harassing Elizabeth. But oh my God, that's my Strom Thurmond story. Yes. The day Strom Thurmond sexually assaulted me. Oh yeah, the Senate was a fun place to be. I have stories. Oh, thank you for the wings. Oh, we're gonna get the wings to move a little. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I took one for the team. Exactly. Thank you, Stormy. Riley asked with a very generous super chat question. What do you think about people saying Trump is crashing the economy on purpose so the rich can buy when the price is low? Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. He may be trashing the economy on purpose for a different reason. One of the economic theories is that Trump's advisors may have convinced him that we're in a little bit of a conundrum right now. Trump needs the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates in order to rev up the economy, and he can have great growth and the stock market goes crazy. And the Fed now is worried about inflation, and interest rates were going to be cut, and now they're not going to be cut. And they've already said they're not cutting interest rates much at all because of Donald Trump's tariffs. One of the economic theories being floated is, have Trump's advisors sold him on this concept that if he crashes the economy and causes a recession, right, by raising prices and it kills them, whatever, that prices go up with tariffs. They go up too far. The stock market contracts, businesses contract, they fire people. The economy not collapses, but collapses in the sense of a recession, right? Growth goes down, unemployment goes up. Inflation then drops because the economy has now collapsed. So inflation drops and the Federal Reserve can now lower interest rates. And if they lower interest rates, the economy takes off. And since Trump is 3 years and 9 months away from, he's still president for 3 years and 9 more months or 10 more months, there's ample time for us to have a really bad recession and the Fed to bring us out of it a year or so later. So the idea is maybe they crash the economy for the next year, and it takes 2 years for the economy to come back. And by the time Trump leaves, the economy is doing great and everybody forgives him. It's possible. It's possible. I mean, it actually, I don't want to say it might work because work is a weird phrase. It actually could happen. The problem is a bunch of people getting fired is not exactly a solution. They don't necessarily get their jobs back. In the meantime, we'd get massive inflation. That's not a good thing. The economy crashing and our stock market crashing is not a good thing, especially if you are looking to retire anytime soon. Because if you're looking to retire anytime soon, you need to start cashing out the stock market every year that you take money out. You don't want to sell stocks if the economy's gone down, right? So the theory, okay, really quick again. So the theory is that if you put lots of tariffs and all these things to basically harm the economy, prices go up, tariffs on goods internationally go up, people stop buying things. When people stop buying things, companies stop making money. When companies stop making money, they fire people. So all of a sudden companies are firing people, prices are going up. You and I are not spending money because things have gotten too expensive. Oh, now she wants water. Hold on. Now I was saying I did not give my dog water. 1 second. 1 second. All right, this one you got an excuse for. Fair enough. I did not give you water this time. All right. Sorry, one more time. So tariffs make prices go up horrifically in the U.S. Other countries put tariffs on our goods, making prices of our goods in their countries go up. As prices go up, people stop buying things. We stop buying foreign goods. They stop buying our goods. We stop buying American goods because American cars have foreign parts, and American cars are going to go up $5,000, the analysts say, for a $40,000 car. So all of us stop buying. Not stop, but a lot of stop buying. That crashes the economy. 2/3 of the economy is consumer spending. 2/3 of the American economy is based on you and me spending stuff. So when consumers get scared and stop spending, the economy goes down. You can have a recession meaning economic growth becomes negative, right? The economy starts shrinking. Companies start firing people because companies are no longer making money because we're not buying. So all of a sudden you and I start losing jobs. Well, when you lose a job, you spend even less money in the economy starts going down. Well, as the economy goes down and we all stop spending, all of a sudden prices will start to come down is the theory. So two things happen. Prices come down and the economy itself comes down and unemployment goes up. What happens next? The Federal Reserve says we need to raise interest rates to help the economy. Currently, they can't do that. Currently, the Federal Reserve is saying if they raise interest rates when Donald Trump we need to lower. I'm already screwing it up. Donald Trump wants the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates so the economy will take off and go crazy. They're not doing that right now. The Federal Reserve was supposed to lower interest rates 4 times this year. Now they've said they're only going to do 2 times, and those 2 times they're not even sure because of Trump's tariffs. They're afraid that Trump's tariffs are going to cause inflation. You don't lower interest rates when there's inflation because it makes inflation even worse. So the Federal Reserve this year may not even lower interest rates at all. Trump is pissed because he wants interest rates lowers to juice the economy, because he wants a juiced economy to show the world and America what a great president he is. The way he can get the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates is crashing the economy. You crash the economy, and then they've got to lower interest rates to help things come back. That's the overall, it's complicated, but the overall theory is he lets inflation go crazy with tariffs. He lets other countries retaliate. International trade comes to a grinding halt, and the economy crashes. When the economy crashes, it'll bring inflation down with it. And the Federal Reserve will say, in order to save the economy, we're going to lower interest rates. And when interest rates go lower, a year or 2 later, the US economy takes off, and Trump, at the end of his presidency, has a strong economy and says, see, I was right. Except A, that may not happen. And B, in the meantime, everybody gets fired. And you don't necessarily get your job back after you lose it, especially if you're over 45, right? It is much harder to get a job when you're in your 40s and up. People look at you and go, we'll hire kids instead. So lots of problems with his theory. And in the meantime, everything got crazy expensive, and yes, that would be bad for the midterms. Good point, Zerpachi. That would hurt Republicans in the midterm elections big time. Unless the economy miraculously did better by then. I don't know that it's going to, right? But who knows? Anyway, that is what is going on. So it's a little crazy. Yes. I don't know that I believe it. That's one theory that's out. So my point is, I don't believe that Donald Trump is trying to crash the economy for Vladimir Putin or whatever. No, I don't believe that. I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories. But could Trump's advisors have this crazy idea that cause a recession on purpose in order to get the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates that'll juice the economy, and then in a year or 2, the economy is soaring? Yes, he could be doing that. He could, especially since the Fed has said, as I said, the Federal Reserve was supposed to lower interest rates 4 times this year, they said, under Biden. Then Biden lost, and the Federal Reserve's chairman said, we're going to do 2 next year. And even then, we're not sure because of, basically, he said, Trump's tariffs. They're afraid of Trump's tariffs causing inflation. So is that what Putin did? That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. I mean, again, hey, get in here. Still trying to eat sticks, my girl. My best guess on why Trump is doing the tariffs, it's difficult because Trump has many masters, right? Sometimes his master is in Moscow. Sometimes his master is the little thing inside his brain that isn't, I don't think he's a very bright guy, right? So Trump has this idea that tariffs are the king of the world. They solve everything. Now, did somebody tell him that? Did he come up with the idea on his own? Who knows? But for some reason, Trump is convinced tariffs solve every problem. Trump also, although I think he's lying. I don't think he's just uninformed. Trump also claims that foreigners pay for tariffs. So we're actually having the foreigners, subsidize America. I'm not convinced. You're not going out there again. No, I don't trust you. No, I saw you. You tried to eat something. I saw that. You tried to eat a stick, didn't you? Yes, you did. Drives me crazy, this girl. But so it could be Project 2025. Trump, even last time, is a big believer in tariffs. Again, Trump personally, let's put it this way. Trump personally, he likes revenge. He likes using a stick, a carrot and stick, but he likes the stick. We know that on a personal level. So tariffs would kind of make sense in the sense of the kind of stuff Trump likes to do. He likes to kind of beat people for negotiations and things like that. You know what I mean? So who knows? Who knows? And it's hard with him because again, he's not, there's not a lot going on up there either. So, and the other problem is Trump has a lot of conflicting, what's the word I'm looking for? I think a lot of people pull his strings at the same time. He likes to pull strings, but Vladimir Putin pulls his strings. Do some of the big donors pull his strings? Is he beholden to somebody who wants tariffs? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You know? Yeah, good point. Actually, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Well, tariffs, I guess the 10% tariffs should apply to Russia at least. The 10% should. That's a really good question. Let me look. That's a really good point. Let me see. I'm going to write tariffs, Russia. I'm going to assume the 10% applies to Russia. Oh, White House. Oh my God. Trump's tariff list is missing one big country, Russia, from Axios. Axios, very good political publication here in the US. I did not even know this. Oh my God. President Trump unveiled tariffs of at least 10% Wednesday on virtually the entire world, with one notable exception, Russia. The intrigue. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told Axios Wednesday that Russia was left off because U.S. sanctions already preclude any meaningful trade. However, the U.S. still trades more with Russia than with countries like Mauritius or Brunei that did make Trump's tariff lists. So they lied. They said, "Oh, it's because we don't do much trade with Russia," but they put on the 10% tariff list countries that we do even less trade than we do with Russia. So they lied. Even remote island territories like Tokelau, population 1,500 in the South Pacific, and Svalbard. Oh, we all love Svalbard. Svalbard, I know, 2,500 in the Arctic Circle were listed for tariffs. However, Leavitt noted that Cuba, Belarus, and North Korea were also not included because existing tariffs and sanctions on them are already so high. Breaking it down, the value of U.S.-Russia trade plummeted from around $35 billion in 2021 to $3.5 billion as of last year due to sanctions imposed over invasion of Ukraine. Russia has asked Trump to lift some of the sanctions as part of the U.S. mediated ceasefire. Trump threatened Russia with secondary tariffs. Leavitt noted that Russia could still face additional strong sanctions. Worth noting, the other two major economies excluded from Trump's otherwise exhaustive list were Canada and Mexico. Leavitt confirmed that was because Trump already imposed 25% tariffs on both. That's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. Svalbard. Yeah, we talked about this before. There's a woman on TikTok who does really nice videos from Svalbard, which are very cool. See, Svalbard makes me think of our Ukrainian friend whose name is like, or no, his is Vze, like Vzevold or something. It's a VSE. Svalbard, a little easier to pronounce than Vze. I know Svalbard. I'm not sure what we import from Svalbard. Ice, polar bears, darkness. Exactly, Dawn. Darkness. Oh, funny. Manana says one of her mom's friends was an illegitimate daughter from Strom Thurmond's black maid. Thurmond paid for her college degree and she sat at his family pew at his funeral. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. Wow. Weird. I've not really looked at the other news today. As I said, the tariffs kind of ate up so much of my time today that I just decided it's a big story. I decided we would make today tariff news day. So there. Yeah, I'm liking the orange. I'm kind of liking behind me. I decided to go for reddish orange on the lights behind me, behind the TV. Unfortunately for TikTok, like I said, the angle is not benefiting you seeing the lights on the TV because I've got a new screen here. Or I can give you there. I'll give you a little bit of light. Now you get a little bit of it there. All right. But yeah, I think they look good. Anyway, it might be Cecilia from Svalbard. I watch her on TikTok. I've not seen YouTube. Probably the same woman. I'm going to get, how many women are there in Svalbard doing social media videos about Svalbard, right? It probably is her. It is Cecilia. Okay, Zerpachi says it is Cecilia. Yep. Yeah, she's very good. I like her. It's kind of fun. Oh, thank you for the gift, Randy. Fred. Grim the dog. Oh, is the dog called Grim? I've seen the dog. I didn't know the name though. Didn't she just move to a new home or something? Oh, there are two of them. Oh, how interesting. Oh, that's fun. Exactly. Groceries. It's a bag that you put things in. Hold on, we're gonna pull that up again. That's my absolute favorite. It's a bag that you put things in. I really do have to do this for TikTok. Hold on, that's
an old-fashioned term that we likewise an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it on the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries.
It's a bag with different things in it. It's an old-fashioned, but I love too. He goes, it's an old-fashioned term I used during the campaign. Did you know? Did you know? Did you use the word the during the campaign as well? It's an old-fashioned word that I used during the campaign. Ooh, how exciting. How exciting. Don't know about the tariffs on other countries. I mean, the list is long, so I don't know. I did actually save it. I may have the list here. I downloaded the list, but I don't know if I downloaded it on my computer. It's possible. I don't know that I've got his. I don't think I do. No, I don't have the entire tariff list on here. No. I must have downloaded it on my computer. Yeah, I thought I did. Thought I did. I did not. Oh, well. It's a bag with things in it. Oh, my. What else, guys? What else? 100,000? Oh, are we trying for 100,000 on TikTok? That works for me. That works for me. Anyway, oh boy. I did make my my brownies last night. These are the David Leibovitz original brownies, the ones that are gluten-free. They're very good. They're with cornstarch. Very good. So I gave Damien a little of those today. I'm going to have them with a little vanilla ice cream tonight. That'll make me happy. Your Madre calls. All right, see you, Blue. That clip was Donald Trump today at the White House talking about groceries. It's an old-fashioned term that I used once during the campaign, and it means a bag with things in it. Thank you, Ash. Again, like somebody said, imagine had Joe Biden said that. Right? Yeah. It's a word. I used the word once during the campaign. It's like, honey, the fact that you use the word groceries is like not news. It's an actual word. If you ever shopped once in your life, which apparently you haven't, you would know the word groceries is like a normal English word. It's not a foreign word. It's not an archaic word. It's not a word you need to define for people. Everybody knows what groceries are, but thanks. I was going to say, kind-hearted said, I'd have asked him to elaborate. I think it would have been, you talked about groceries. I would have said that. Can you imagine? You talked about groceries earlier, and I thought that was fascinating. Could you, just tell us more about that? I just think it's a really interesting topic. He'd be like, oh my God, yeah, right? Like, there's this archaic word, toilet paper. It's kind of old-fashioned, and it's this paper that like goes in the toilet. Oh God. Grocery. But I mean, like grocery shopping. Yeah. Like grocery. I got to go grocery shopping. This is not an archaic word. I got to go get groceries. Yeah. What do you say? You don't, I'm going to go to the food store, the grocery store. Yeah. Either you name the store or you say the grocery store. I got to get groceries or grocery prices. Yeah. I mean, groceries, it's really not an old word. Yeah. Yeah. The grocery store. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know what other kind of store it is. Like, what else do you call Safeway? It's a grocery store. You could say, I've got to go to Safeway. You could say groceries are really expensive. What else do you call them groceries? They're groceries. Food? But if you say food's expensive, that doesn't make sense because that sounds like restaurants. You'd say groceries are expensive. Yeah, sundries, but sundries is a word I will use, but it's a little too smart of a word, I think. Sundries are maybe toilet paper. I think of them as the pharmacy aisle. Anything that's not food that you might get at a grocery store could be sundries. But I think of it like deodorant or shampoo. I think of as sundries. Stuff like almost cosmetic stuff or something. You know what I mean? Toothpaste. But even then, the word sundries I'll use, but I worry that it's a bit snobby of a word. It's in American English, it sounds a little too educated. I don't know. Americans are funny that way. Unlike the Brits, we kind of watch our words a little bit. Sundries, I think, is old-fashioned, but it's also a little smart. I worry if I use it, some people are going to look at me and go, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like you're using a highfalutin word. Trump spoke for like an hour today. It was crazy. Non-food consumables. I don't even know what a consumable is that's not food. What would that be, Paul? I don't really know what a consumable is. Meaning things you use, like toilet paper. Oh, I see. Things you take and you use, not like a toaster, but things you use and you dispose of, right? So like toilet paper you use, you dispose. Kleenex, toothpaste you use. Oh, that's an interesting point. Disinfectants, right? I guess that's an interesting point. Things that you use and you get rid of. I would not put a gummy as a sundry. No, I don't think gummy is a grocery. Well, are prescription sundries? Maybe, right? Yeah, I saw that too. He claimed eggs have gone down 59%. No, they haven't. Well, I'm going to find out tomorrow at the grocery store. I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, anyway. Oh, he's a piece of work. He's a piece of groceries. It's an old fashioned word I used once during the campaign. Yeah, it's a word actually most of us use every week when we go shopping for groceries. So, yeah, I don't think egg prices have come down. Yeah, grocery bag. Hang on a second. I'm going to see. I want to see what the average price. The average price did come down a little bit for groceries. There's no way it came down. See, this is Trump's problem. This is what I said earlier. He lies like nobody else, and that's the problem. He doesn't like skirt the truth. He just lies about everything. Ukraine. He's keeps claiming that we've given Ukraine $350 billion in aid. We've given Ukraine $118 billion. The Congress has appropriated $180 billion, but that money hasn't gone to Ukraine. Congress said Ukraine can get the money, but they haven't given it to them. They've only given Ukraine $118 billion in aid. So Trump claims it's $350 billion. I mean, it's just what he does. That is pathological lie. That is not just, oh, all presidents get things wrong. He's pathological. Egg prices, US. Let's see. I should have looked at the average. Oh, I don't believe that at all. They're lying. Oh, they're lying. This is from Trump's. It's because his administration claimed this. Trump's agriculture department claimed, oh, this is ridiculous. The agriculture department claimed last week that the average prices of eggs dropped to $3 a dozen in the US from $5 a dozen. Oh, give me a break. $3 a dozen? When did that happen? Oh, he's out of his mind. Oh, again, the problem is this is his people. Because now, remember, they fired all the real people. They fired all the real math people and the real scientists. They've got all the political people in there now. Wait, CNN says, hold on. Yeah, hold on. There's no way. Hold on. One second here. Okay, they are wholesale prices. That's true. It can take weeks for wholesale prices to translate to most grocery store shelves. Well, let's see. That sounds like a hell of a price drop. Hopefully that's true. But yeah, egg prices are not $3 a dozen. Let's see. Well, we'll find out in a month if they go down. I hope they do. So anyway, hello, dog. Yeah. Oh, you right over there for YouTube and Discord. She's hanging again. My dog's begging already. Anyway. Actually, Callum said gas prices went up like $1 or something where he is. He's in the US right now. A dollar? Which I was like, holy cow, that's insane. All right, dog, I swear to God, I'm going to yell at you in 2 seconds if you eat a stick. I'm watching. What's the right? I said, don't even. I see you. She's looking like terrified at me. I see you. Are you done already? Yeah, of course you are. Come back in. Oh, she's so bad. Yeah, she's like, I'm going to go on the balcony. She goes out. She immediately goes and tries to pick up what she thought was a stick. I knocked and she looked at me and then came back to the door and stood there like, okay, let me in. Caught. God, it's like having a perpetual 3-year-old child. You know, they think they're always going to try to cheat, but she's already. Well, if she comes, she'll be back. She's at the front door looking to see if Brutus, the Yorkie, is around to play. Well, no, I cleaned up the balcony. She shouldn't be able to find anything on the balcony. The problem is she's eating sticks and she's like pooping sticks. And for a small dog, especially, that's a nice way to have a visit to the emergency room. Like, it's not safe, but she keeps doing it. And I keep trying to stop her and like, oh my God, you know, yes, Brutus was the one yesterday that came by. Exactly. Which it's too bad you didn't see Brutus, because it would have been very funny to see him. Oh, there's okay. For the YouTube folks here, okay, you guys get a Sasha sighting in the back there. You can see back in the little, by my plants, still looking for stuff. You guys could see her up. Anyway, she's kind of roaming around my plants right now. What's she doing? Who knows I mean, she can't get anything, so I'm going to hope. But I always have to keep my eyes on her. Are we licking the floor again? Hi. Don't stop. Licking the floor again. I should have done that. She like jumped out of her skin when I did that. Oh my God. Anyway. Well, we don't need, like I said, I cleaned up the balcony at least. She's licking the floor. She acts like she's starving. I mean, I fed her 3 hours ago. She's not starving. I mean, she ate 3 hours ago. She even got a treat. She's getting another treat in a few minutes. She's not starving. Her weight is perfect. I weighed her again today. Her weight is like 10.2 pounds. She should be 10 pounds, give or take. She's 10.2. She's perfect. 9.5 was like the old days when she was really healthy. So like, she's not particularly skinny, and she's acting like she's being starved to death. Everything's food, licking the floor everywhere. Like I said, sticks outside, grabs every stick she can. I'm like, oh my God. I don't understand them. I really don't. Yeah, the stuff in the bag story. Exactly. I don't know what it is. The dirt outside, you name it. But the sticks are what worry me, because she literally will swallow sticks and then she poops an inch of stick, which in a small dog, I'm surprised it doesn't kill her. Yeah. Anyway. All right, guys, I think I'm going to sign off. We're at the hour and a half mark, our usual mark. Thank you for joining us today. As I said, sorry, your Maltese turns 20. Oh my God. Or your sister's Maltese. Wow. That's a lot. Wow. There she is. She's roaming again. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow, 6:00 Eastern time, US. You know the drill. I don't want to let you out there again. No, I don't believe you. I think you're up to nefarious intent. Yes. Looking for your consumables. I did. I cleaned the balcony so well. There shouldn't be a stick out there, but she still tries, so we'll see. Hi. Yes. No. All right, guys, I'm going to hang up. All right, Discord, I'm going to start with you as always, and then YouTube, and then TikTok. But good to see everybody. Give an inch. Exactly. If I give her an inch, Trump takes the old, I think it meant Sasha. My dog also takes an inch and gives an inch and takes a mile as well. All right, Amanda, see you guys. Yes. Thank you, Ash. I will right now. All right. TikTok's disconnecting. Excellent. YouTube. Thank you, YouTubers. See you guys tomorrow. Doop. And then